It's your friendly neighborhood bibliothecary Morgan here. We're reading through in-game codex entries for Baldur's Gate 3, and today we're going to be reading Fables of Faerûn. So without further ado, grab your cuppa, make yourself comfortable, and let's start reading. Fables of Faerûn. 1. The Dim-Witted Drow. Long ago in the city of Menzoberranzan, a drow wizard called Zod studied magic in the Academy of Sorcerer. Each 10-day, the Archmage would ask Zod to demonstrate his newfound skills, and each 10-day, Zod would fail. Sorcerer educates only the brightest of pupils, warned the Archmage. Your scholarship must improve, or you will be expelled. That very night, Zod slipped out of Menzoberranzan to seek the hidden city of mind flayers, Orendal. The library there boasted the most complete body of knowledge in the whole of the Underdark. I'll learn about all that is and ever was, vowed Zod. The Archmage will have no choice but to keep me. Yet the longer Zod searched for Orendal, the more lost he became. His body weak and his stomach empty, the drow fell to the ground, and reality faded. Zod awoke within a vast circular hall lined with tomes and tablets, untold knowledge etched upon them. Orendal. I made it. I will know everything, he exclaimed. A wide smile crossed Zod's face. He barely noticed the tadpole wriggling just above his left eye. Yes, said a voice in Zod's head. Everything. 2. The Daring Dwergar. In the deep city of Gragglestug lived a young Dwergar named Shull, who could conjure eerie whispers in his brothers' minds. Eager to develop his psionic powers and take over his clan, he asked the Godfather who could teach him further. Cross the dark lake. On the south shore there is a chasm, said the Godfather. Within the chasm lives a rogue mind flayer called Ear. It will teach you all you must know. Shull's voyage was fraught with danger. He fended off aboleths and cloakers alike until he reached the mind flayer's chasm. Ear emerged from its hovel, tentacles writhing. I'm here to learn, Shull told it. Very well, came the response. On the first moon's passing, Ear taught Shull how to read minds. On the second, it taught Shull how to bend them. But this was not enough for Shull. He wanted to destroy minds with a mere word. So be it, said Ear, and it bestowed a blessing on Shull. It is yours, the knowledge to shatter a single mind, but you may only speak the command once, Ear told Shull, for then it is forever forgotten. Ready to assume control of his clan, Shull returned to Gracklestug. Show me what you have learned, the Godfather told Shull. Shull grinned, spoke the command, and his own skull shattered before the Godfather's eyes. Said the Godfather, the lesson is complete. 3. The Enticing Elder. There were once two sisters, one a great fighter and one a great cleric, who longed for new adventure. I shall skewer an elder brain upon my sword, cried the fighter, to the Underdark. I wish to know the secrets of the brain's powers, said the cleric. Let us be off. In the recesses of the deep, the sisters slayed darklings and darrow, bugbears and bulettes. The two reached an illithid colony when the fourth 10-day passed. Their quest would soon be complete. With great effort they felled a half-dozen mind flayers and soon reached the elder brain's lair. It rose from the brine pool at the center of its chamber, flanked by illithids. Brain didn't speak aloud, but the sisters could hear it in their minds. I am called Quayaz. Why have you come? I will make your powers my own, called the cleric. I will crush you and bring an end to your tyranny, said the fighter. The brain hovered in silence. A moment later, a burst of psionic energy shook the chamber, and the sisters lay dead. Good luck, Quayaz replied. The illithids feasted heartily that day. 4. The Magnanimous Miner. In the underground city of Mental Dareth lived a deep gnome called Sadie and her father Sam. Each morning the hard-working Sadie traveled to the nearby grotto, pick in hand, to mine gems. Each night the lazy Sam would count them and demand even more. You cannot rest until I am the richest man in all of Faerûn. One day Sadie encountered a stranger on her path home, a haggard creature, gray of skin and small of stature. Darrow, exclaimed Sadie. Please, said the Darrow. I have no money and no home. I beg of you a single ruby, so I might sell it for food. Sadie found pity in her heart and gave the beggar a ruby. She told her father about the Darrow upon returning home. Do not believe his lies, warned Sam. Darrow are selfish, demented creatures. Give him no more, lest I cast you away. The Darrow was waiting for Sadie the next day. Please, give me 10 rubies so I might sell them for shelter. Sadie, moved by his plea, did as he asked and journeyed home, where Sam rebuked her. An inferior haul, he said. This will not stand. On the third day, the Darrow appeared in the grotto. 100 rubies, please, so I might feed my brothers and sisters. Kind-hearted Sadie handed the beggar her entire sack of gems. As he took it, there was a great flash of light. Where the beggar had stood was a massive gold dragon. You prove yourself generous of heart and spirit. Come to my lair and share in my golden hoard. Sadie eagerly accepted, joining the dragon in his opulent hideaway. 1 year later, Sadie passed a beggar near the grotto. Her own father, Sam. Sadie, I have no money and no home, he said. I beg of you a single ruby so I might sell it for food. Sadie found no pity in her heart and walked away. 5. The Boy and the Beholder. A shepherd's son tended to his father's flocks on the banks of the Clonthar. The days grew long and the boy grew bored. To amuse himself, he called out, Beholder, beholder! The shepherd came running, but there was no beholder. The boy pointed and giggled, but the shepherd scolded him, Do not cry beholder when there is no beholder. Promise? I promise, said the boy. The next day was as boring as the last. Beholder, the boy cried, and his father rushed to his side. The boy laughed and laughed, but the shepherd only frowned and shook his head. 3 days later, the boy spotted a rounded figure floating in the distance. It had one giant eye in the middle of its face, a mouth full of pointed teeth, and thin stalks growing from it, each with an eye peeking from the tip. Beholder, beholder, he shouted, but no one came. The beholder began to float toward him, and the boy turned and sprinted along the river. He ran and ran until he reached a high bank and could run no more. The boy cried and cowered, bracing for the beholder's deadly ray. Instead, a familiar voice said, Turn around. The boy turned. There was no beholder, only the shepherd clad in a woolen cloak. A giant eye was painted on the front and a toothy mouth below. Vines were sewn to the cloak's edges. You scared me, sobbed the boy. That makes us even, said his father, as he dried the boy's tears. The boy never cried beholder again. 6. The Cheerful Deep Gnome. Deep in the Underdark lived Doyle, a plucky deep gnome slave. Day and night he and his brother toiled for 5 Dwergar smiths, mining iron and mithril until their arms ached and their eyes burned. Faster, cried the Dwergar. Faster Doyle would dig, even into the night while his master slept, smiling all the while. How can you smile while we slave? Asked the brother. Because I wish our masters much success, was Doyle's reply. Words of the Dwergar's quality weapons and armor quickly spread. To meet demand, the Dwergar brought in more slaves and began to forge and stockpile their wares at the dig site. Yet Doyle dug harder than ever, his wide grin never faltering. Soon the Dwergar's operation grew so great that they commanded 20 deep gnome slaves. The day the 21st came, Doyle laughed and whooped so loud his Dwergar captors sought silence in a nearby grotto. The slavers returned to find Doyle and his fellow deep gnomes clad in robust mithril armor and carrying mighty iron weapons, all taken from the slavers' stockpile. The 5 Dwergar fell quickly, for they were no match for 21 armed deep gnomes, and Doyle, he never stopped smiling. Beneath the fable, an incensed reader has written a brief review. Garbage. This where the gnomes are getting bright ideas? Anyhow, I don't get it. The lesson makes no damn sense. That was the Fables of Faerûn. Thanks so much for joining me, and until next time, I'll catch you later. But be sure to come back and visit.